Thank you, trustee Pianos.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Law and ordinance, trustee Falagario.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't have anything under the discussion, but I do have some items under consent agenda. The first item under A, that was an item that we had discussion with the zoning board, and I'd like to make a motion to remove it from committee, and the request of Adrian Tiskoski at 7835 West Winnemac Avenue, asking for reconsideration of his original request for a side yard variance from the request of 8 feet to 5'3". And the zoning board, what we want to do is ask that we convert it to the recommendation of the zoning board, that we make a motion to agree with the zoning board and leave it at the 6 feet, 6'6". Do I have any questions? Time out?
I have a question. As I understand it, the current requirement is 8 feet.
Right,
They asked for 5.3 feet.
right.
You are, by this motion,
with six.
you are recommending that we
Agree
comply
zoning
with the
board.
zoning board's recommendation
Right,
and set it at 6.6 feet.
right.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Is that just for this address?
Yes.
Okay, it won't be permanent then?
No.
Okay.
I'd like to have a motion and have it approved as noted.
Second.
Motion, trustee Falagario, second trustee Tannhauser. Vote please. 4-0, motion carries.
Okay, on the rest of my committee, from B, C, and D, again, I'd like to have a motion if there aren't any questions, to have it approved as noted.
Second.
Trustee Falagario, second by trustee Tannhauser. Vote please. 4-0, motion carries.
And that is all I have.
Okay, thank
Good
you.
thing the attorney is here. So,
Thank you.
That's why we plan. Police, trustee Kucharski.
I have nothing in discussion on my consent agenda. Unless there are any questions, I'd like to make a motion to accept A, B, C, and D.
Second.
Motion trustee Kucharski, second trustee Sulemowski. Vote please. 4-0, motion carries. Is that all we have?
That's all, sir.
Village properties, HR insurance. It's Don Gelsomino. He's not here tonight, but trustee Kucharski.
Sure. Nothing in discussions. And if there are no questions, I'd like to make a motion on my consent agenda of A, B, C, and D, and E.
A, B, C, D, and E.
Second.
First motion Kucharski, second motion for trustee Tannhauser. Vote please. 4-0, motion carries.
That is all, sir.
Public Works, back to trustee Tannhauser.
Thank you, Mr. President. Item A, we're going to have a presentation by Brad Clark from Edward Hancock Engineering of the MSM program in accordance with the NEDES permit requirements. So a short presentation.
All right, thank you. As Trustee Tannhauser said, I'm here to discuss the stormwater management program plan for the village of Norridge. Next slide. A little bit of the background. The permit, the village of Norridge is an operator of the municipal separate storm sewer system, called MS4. Per the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency, National Pollution Discharge Elimination System Phase 2 program. The permit for the MS4 communities requires that the village of Norridge develop, implement, and enforce a stormwater management program plan.
Brad,
Yes, sir.
speak louder and use the microphone.
Oh, can you not hear me? I'm sorry. Thanks. So I can read it. I'm sorry, the stormwater management program plan designed to reduce the discharge of pollutants into neighboring waterways to the maximum extent practicable to protect water quality and to satisfy the water quality requirements as intended by the Clean Water Act as amended in 1987. The stormwater pollution plan encompasses all aspects of the Village of Norridge's NPDES programs. There's 6 minimum control measures that the village has to work with. The first one is public education and outreach. The village has various pamphlets that they put out at the village hall. They also have materials that are on the village's website. There's certain links that the village has on their website as well as part of the requirements. Public education materials strive to cover the following key aspects related to the public's involvement with stormwater: the reduction of pollutants and stormwater discharge, the hazards associated with illegal discharges and improper waste disposal, benefits of green infrastructure strategies, including rain gardens, rain barrels, bioswales, permeable pavements, green roofs, native plants, and other processes, and also the effects of climate change as it relates to the stormwater discharge. The second measure is the public participation and involvement. The Village of Norridge provides public meeting annually to share the information about the MS4 program. That's what we're here tonight for. The Village of Norridge is an active member community of the Lower Des Moines Watershed Planning Council. This is a collaborative group of 55 municipalities. There's quarterly meetings the village goes to. Currently, there's volunteer opportunities exist through local Boy and Girl Scout organizations as well as regional grassroots environment organizations. The village continues to look for volunteer opportunities and inform the residents as opportunities arise. The village has begun review and identification of environmental justice areas within its borders. The intent is to provide all groups within the community the same degree of protection from environmental and health hazards, and to ensure prioritization of effort with regard to the fair distribution of environmental burdens and benefits. Third measure is illicit discharge detection and elimination. The MWRD assumed control over the stormwater management in Cook County back in 2004. The Act also required the preparation and adoption of the countywide stormwater management plan and the development of stormwater management regulatory ordinance. The village adheres to the WMO as administered by the Metropolitan Water Regulation District. The WMO was adopted in 2014, and there are certain requirements that pertain to illegal connections and monitoring of such illicit discharges. The village maintains its own illicit discharge and illegal dumping ordinance with penalties within the village code. These are in Chapter 98. The village has developed an illicit discharge detection and elimination program to detect and reduce illicit connections, discharges, and illegal dumping. The program includes the following: an annual dry weather visual inspection of the outfalls, annual inspection of retention and detention basins, review of annual water quality testing reports at critical locations along the Des Plaines River. These are performed by the MWRD. Encouragement of residents reporting of if any observed discharges. Discouragement of illicit connections, discharges, and illegal dumping by publishing associated penalties on the village website and within the newsletter. Development of a complete village-wide outfall inventory. Development of an updated village-wide storm sewer system map. The village membership within the West Cook County Solid Waste Agency. This has several programs where they can do electronic recycling. This helps to reduce the improper dumping. There's no cost to the residents for that. And also, the village does identify significant industrial users and prioritizes those. The fourth measure is construction site runoff control. Again, the village adheres to the WMO as administered by the MWRD. They require best management practices to regulate runoff construction sites. Regulations pertains to soil erosion and sediment control, consideration of discharge water quality, and reduction of pollutants. The village adheres to the ILR 10 NPDES permit for stormwater discharge from construction sites for any construction project with a land disturbance of over 1 acre. The associated requirements for sites at or above the 1 acre threshold are as follows. They're required to submit a notice of intent permit to the IEPA, submit a stormwater pollution prevention plan that includes provisions as described in the most recent edition of the Illinois Urban Manual. Sites requiring a SWPPP must have a signed certification on site as well as a copy of the permit, and village site plan review, including the review of the BMPs. Village requires soil erosion and sediment control measures to reduce pollutants and stormwater runoff from construction activities. This is achieved through a plan review process that considers water quality, site inspection and enforcement of control measures, and penalties to ensure compliance. The village records inquiries and complaints from residents with regard to the erosion control sediment runoff. A specific form is used for these. The fifth measure is the post-construction site runoff control. Again, the village is adhering to the WMO that is administered by the Water Reclamation District. The WMO requires reduction of discharge pollutants, reduction in volume, and reduction in velocity of the stormwater flow. Key detailed requirements within the WMO permitting process include the following items: site runoff plan, stormwater calculations, base flood elevation determination, volume control plan, detention facility plan. The village also abides by the WMO Article 4 for permanent erosion control measures, as well as Article 9 for maintenance and monitoring plan. Chapter 46 of the Village Flood Protection Code includes final stabilization and restoration measures for floodplains, disturbed areas and flood fringe, and designated floodways. The village ensures that all regulated construction sites maintain post-construction BMPs that meet or exceed the requirements of the permit. The village will continue to review the current BMPs for the construction site runoff control with respect to potential climate change impacts and also green construction methods. And the final measure is the pollution prevention good housekeeping. The village maintains and adheres to the operation and maintenance program to mitigate the discharge of pollutants from municipal operations and activities. The program includes the following key activities: street sweeping, catch basin cleaning, sewer televising and cleaning, leaf removal, snow and ice control and disposal, reduction of pesticides and herbicide use, maintenance of village vehicles, proper storage of oil, gas, salt, batteries, and other abrasive materials. Additionally, the SWPPP for Public Works has been created to further detail the proper storage and handling of materials within the yard. The village provides employees with an employee training program in an effort to implement BMPs into daily activities that can reduce and eliminate the discharge of pollutants into the storm sewer system. Examples of typical training activities include factor cleaning operations training, stormwater training seminar, plumbing procedures, green infrastructure, and sustainability. That's the end of my presentation. If there are any questions or comments, please feel free to give those. We're looking for feedback from everyone. My contact information is up there as well. If somebody wants to send me an email.
Thank you, Brett.